Hey everybody, what's up? Circus here, coming at you with this week's power ranking video. Joining me as always is Kamell. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man? I am doing great. And yeah, let's get right into it.
Yeah, this week, again, another shake-up. Things are just never the same 2 weeks in a row right now. But if you're not familiar with the series, and what we do here is we track tournaments and we see how decks perform in those tournaments. Then we assign them points and then rank them. So if a deck gets a first place finish, they'll get 6 points. If it's a second place finish, it gets 4 points. If it's a top four, it gets two, and a top eight is worth a single point. The tournaments we track this week, as always, tournaments have to be rounds of Swiss into a top cut, a single deck with a 6-card side where they can side in a skill if they want. And this week, only 7 tournaments met that criteria, so we had some tournaments drop off this week. But it was the tournaments we do, the Battle Phase Series, and the Meta Weekly, the Pharaoh's Cash Tournament, and then the God Meta Weekly. This week we missed out on the Battle Series and the Dual World Weekly. So, with that in mind, the first place deck this week, what do you think it's going to be, Kamel?
Hopefully not Shiranui. We talked a lot of crap about them, so they hope they didn't win.
All right, I'm guessing it's Black Wings. I have no idea. It is not Black Wings this week. It's Dark Magician back on top, baby.
And these rankings they're pretty crazy. Look at Blackwing's first place by 17 points last week. This time they are 10th with
Yes.
6 points.
What
That's
happened?
I don't know. I mean, what happened to all the Blackwing players? We were talking about how, like, oh, Blackwings, everyone's playing the same Blackwing deck minus a card or two.
Right.
What happened? Did everyone just decide they want to try something else? Like, I am confused. So let's get into it.
Dark Magician, Element Sabers, Witchcrafters, Neo, Shiranui. I mean, what is going on? All right, so first deck of the week, Dark Magician in first place, up 6 spots this week. So
Wow.
it definitely surged forward, scored a few extra points, but I had 2 tournament victories this week.
Yeah, Dark Magician did have a really good showing this week. Just looking at the list on screen, you can see why a little bit. Cards like decks that can run cards like Karma Cut and still have their main strategy not be interrupted have been performing very well. Even though Blue Eyes didn't make it to the top, Blue Eyes had the same kind of thing, right? The ultra disruptive back row helped them a lot. And yeah, Karma Cut just fits right into Dark Magician. It's the perfect kind of card they need.
Well, I mean, come on, they're running 7 monsters and 13 spells and traps. I mean, this is just a spell trap deck with a few monsters in it, right?
Right, and you can see this the Rod to 2 overall did not hurt Dark Magician very much, and I think this week is where people were like, all right, last week we found out Blackwings are all right. This week, let's see how Dark Magician are holding up. And yeah, Rod to 2, I have to say, didn't change much. People still have access to all of their
No.
major combo pieces, all of their major strategies, and it gives you room to play cards like the Divine Wrath, like the Karma Cut.
All right, we're going to look at the conversion rates right here. Now, everything is down this week on conversion rates just because there's less tournaments. So you can see a lot of negative numbers. Just take that with a grain of salt. But just looking at the conversion rate, 18% into the top 32, 8% to the top 8.
That's an interesting statistic right there. Overall representation down almost a third of what it was last week, but they're at the top of the power rankings.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Definitely. Indeed. I think a lot of it just has to do with less tournaments. The numbers are down, but
Right.
overall, it's a strong deck. All right, moving on. Element Sabers in second place this week. Second place last week, so no movement for them. But they do have less points. Like I said, there's less tournaments, but they did get a win in the God Meta Weekly. It was actually a mirror match in the God Meta Weekly.
Yeah, Element Sabers had overall a boom in people playing them this week and a boom in results. And again, just a very tight deck, hard to brick, hard to fall behind on. You have multiple opportunities to interrupt your opponent and just make sure that they can't deal with the powerful monsters that you bring out. And also, like, we were watching Element Sabers on Friday PDS, like so many just E Saber top decks were just doing so well. Yeah, deck's really strong still,
Yeah, Purgatrio just VIP of the deck.
honestly.
All right, going to look at the conversion rates here. Overall represent, like I said, everything's down a little bit, but 20% conversion rate into the top 32. That's really strong. But into the top eight, 2%.
Ugh, 2%. That's really strange. So into the top eight. Can we look at the placements again one more time? 2% conversion rate. That's pretty
Well, it was
crazy.
one person that made the top eight. You know.
Oh, okay. So I see.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, the again the numbers are a little funky because we had less of a sample size, but
Right.
still good to see Element
So yeah,
Sabers.
10 decks make it into the top cut. One goes on to win. So there you go. Okay, moving along to the next deck, Witchcrafters in third place. So they're up one from last week, which was up one spot from the previous week. So they're making a slow and steady climb up the power rankings, but they just can't get that win that they need.
But in defense of Witchcrafters, I think that this week, Witchcrafters, the optimal build has finally been determined, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing this 30 card Show of Nightmares version on screen right now. This is probably the most played. You can see that it's playing very powerful spells to go along with Witchcrafters, like Storm for back row, Enemy Controller, and Offerings in this version. So yeah, I think and you're correct. Witchcrafters have been slowly climbing up the power rankings because they've needed to find their place in the meta with that optimized build. And I think we're going to see it a lot more now that they have that.
All right, let's check out those conversion rates.
Hmm.
Here you go. Overall representation down a little bit, but look at this. Like I said, a lot of other decks, everything's down in representation, conversion rates, and all that. But look at Shiranui. The rep is down, but the top 32 conversion rate is up. So less
Yeah,
people are
it's
playing, but
up.
people are figuring out how to play the deck.
Exactly. And that is what is going to jumpstart Witchcrafters as a meta deck. A lot of people have not tried them yet because they haven't been proven in the tournament space, but I think they will slowly reach that. And dark Witchcrafters, when they do top in events, their conversion rate in each individual tournament is getting better. In the tournaments that Witchcrafters did do well in Battleface EU and PCT, I just calculated they had somewhere between a 35 to 45% conversion rate, and it was nowhere near that previous weeks. We get like 10 people playing it, and one would top.
All right. So moving on to the next one. Neos, our boy Neos, still around, dropping a spot from last week. Points are down, but it did get a win in the Meta Weekly. That's not bad.
Yeah, Neos, the same volcanic shell version, still proven to be very strong. Counter traps, I believe, is what keeps this deck in the meta. The counter traps are just so strong and so oppressive, and it's hard for most decks to come back from them, especially decks like Black Wings that fall off when they lose their resources. So, yeah.
All right. Looking at the conversion rates this week for Neos, you see the representation's up, but everything else is down, down, down.
Yeah, man, Nails had a good week, but I don't know. The deck just, it's not going to see that extreme representation. It's kind of like, I just don't want to say it's a very popular deck, right? It's a very strong deck, but it's not very popular. Often people are going to lean towards the other decks that have more explosive things going for their archetypes themselves and not playing counter traps.
Right. And you're just trying to get to Purgatrio here, and Element Sabers still just do it better. All
Yeah.
right, moving on to the next deck. This is one of Kamell's decks. He's got a bit of a beef going on, maybe, with the community. Here you go. Shiranui, what do you think, Kamell?
I think exactly what I said before. Shiranui is falling off now that the players that were predominantly playing it because it was best deck, they've moved on, man. they've got the new girlfriend and they're done with Shiranui, right? They're done with Shiranui. They've got their Witchcrafters, they got the Dark Magician. They don't need Shiranui. The 20 card version, in fact, that we see here is honestly being challenged with the resurgence of the old 30 card Shiranui. People playing Show of Nightmares there as well. And let's get into the numbers for Shiranui because I want to see
Oh
the
yeah,
conversion.
definitely.
So,
All right, here we go. It's a mixed bag. Overall representation's down a little bit, but people are still making it into the top 32 at the deck. But then it tends to wash out into the top 8 is what we're seeing.
I just think now with Shiranui, it's more important ever. It's more important than ever that you open a card like Squire to get going, and having that card at 2 hurts so much. And the ability for you to play Cosmic Cyclone, it's not a good enough trade-off. You're losing consistency for your main win condition, so you can take out one back row. That's not a buff, man, and the results show. It's not a buff, and the results are there to prove. That's all I gotta
And
say
I
about
did
shit.
just want to make a quick note because I know a lot of you like to grind the numbers here. If you take a look at Sabers and we look at the the score here, it does have like a lot of top 8 finishes, but then when we go to the conversion rate, it only says one one top 8. And the reason that happens is because a lot of tournaments do not record their overall decks and then their top 32 decks. So there's no data. So I can't really include all of them into it. Some just have a top 32 breakdown, some have an overall breakdown. But if they don't have both, I can't include them in the data. So right here you see Element Sabers only have one top 8, even though it appears that they have many more in the overall score. Where like here we have like 6 or 7 tops, but not everybody reports that data, so I don't think it's fair to include those in. Going off of that, we do have top 8 finishes listed here. Shiranui in first place though with the most top 8 finishes, but they just can't close it out.
Yeah, Shiranui, and I think that is again Shiranui's massive representation, getting them those top 8 finishes. When you get to the top 8, that's when you start seeing those matchups against. You're always going to see a matchup against a deck that is just more consistent and more explosive than Shiranui,
Yep.
and that's what's typically where they fall off.
But as you can see, Dark Magician, Witchcrafters, Neos, all really strong. Ritual Beast, look at that.
Mm.
4 top 8 finishes, but just where did it end up? In 7th place this week on the power ranking. So it just needed a win to move it up. It just did not get it. Blackwing's way down there, barely making the top 8 this week. So um, there you go. And then moving on to the best conversion rates of the week. Ritual Beast, here you go. They're great. They just can't score any points. Look at that 11% conversion rate. And Element Sabers at the bottom, 2% conversion rate.
Yeah, and this is just to the top 8, correct? Not
Just to the top
to
8, right?
more.
I know it says top 8 conversion rates and there's 8 on the screen. That might be a little confusing, but it's to the top 8. So if you're making it into the top 8, because to me that's important. A lot of decks can make it to the top 32. We see a lot of memes make it to the top 32, but can you make it to the top 8 where the real glory's at?
That's true. Please, guys, let us know if there's numbers you'd like to see, what you think about the statistics that we show you. Circus always does a lot of work on the numbers for the power rankings, so let us know what you think about them.
And then the last real quick one, victories. This one's not hard. Dark Magician with 2 victories this week. Everything else was just a single victory. So, like I said, there was only 7 tournaments, so it's there's not as much data as I would like, but
Shout out to Goki winning Battle Phase
Yep.
EU. Pretty nice.
Yep. But look, Goki in 8th place this week. So Ritual Beast in 9th. Black Wings in 10th.
Mm,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, that's nuts. Goki did better than Blackwing. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
But
we
thanks, guys. Oh, yep. What's up?
Oh, I was just gonna say we did see Arrow Mages score a single point once again this
Yeah,
week.
Battle Phase Friday. That was it.
Yeah. Oh, so did Amazon, and so I don't know what's going on right now.
Oh man. Oh, but yeah, you guys were doing that rogue deck video. You were talking about one of the decks that topped. maybe you'll pick one from here. You let us
Yeah,
know in the comments if you'd like to see a certain one listed here for that
like
video.
magician girls. Who knows?
Fishing goes, yeah.
All right, guys. I hope you liked the video. We like
Mhm.
making this one. This one's fun every week. And if you did like it, what should they do, Kamel?
They should like, comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And when we get that 1,000 subscribers, we will be throwing an uncapped $100 minimum prize tournament where everyone can join. Twitch, YouTube, it doesn't matter. As long as you find DLE in the Discord, you'll be able to enter that tournament. And that's going to be at 1,000 subs. We are so close. So please, guys, get out there, tell your friends. DLE. The support on the channel for the past week have been insane. A lot of our videos are doing very well. So thank you for that.
Yep. Make sure to get in the Discord because that's where we host all of our tournaments. You'll get notifications when the tournaments are happening. You can join those. It's always a good time. So don't forget about Gamersupps too. There's a link in the description below. You can get 10% off. It's pretty good stuff. Tastes like Kool-Aid, but it kicks you in the ass.
When we were streaming Konami, the worlds, online worlds, I was drinking this stuff all night. It kept me up. I was up at 6 a.m. Off gamer subs.
All right, guys. I hope you liked the video, and I hope to see you next week. I'm
Peace out,
Circus.
guys.
That's Kamel. See ya.